Hey guys, I'm Rich from NeoWin. Today we are unboxing the HP Elite X3. This is their latest Windows phone. It's not their latest. This is their first Windows phone. It's their first Windows 10 mobile phone at least. It's got a Snapdragon 820 inside, and it is the first Windows phone to use a Snapdragon 820 chipset, which makes it the most powerful Windows phone that exists. Now, as you can see from the photo on the box, by the way, this is a box, it's not some kind of background. It's just a massive box. What's in here is the phone, the desktop, and that's about it. Now, they are going to be sending me the other accessories, so by the time I have a review out, I'll have a complete experience. There's also the laptop, which is basically a dummy laptop, and you can plug the phone into it. It's super thin, it's super light, and it should be super portable. So let's just open this up here. This massive, massive box. All right. Yeah, it's never that easy, is it? I say that in just about every unboxing video, though, I think. All right. We've got this little piece of paper here. And there you have it. There's the dock right here. Ooh, it's pretty heavy. And then we have the Elite X3 over here. So in this envelope, we have a little letter from AT&T that says welcome, and an empty SIM card. So I assume that the SIM card is inside the phone. Now, first, let's look at this dock. I've had this phone. They announced this phone back in February at Mobile World Congress, and it finally, they had announcements of when it would actually start to ship. They said this summer, and then it actually showed up at the end of July in some regions. They said August 29th for the US. It didn't end up showing up until September, October, and now you can buy it in a Microsoft store starting last week. Okay, so one of the times I had this demoed for me, I asked them about this because the phone plugs into the dock, as you can see, it sits right there. Whereas with a Lumia display dock, if you want to use Continuum, you have to hook it up with a USB-C cable. And that's not the case here. So if you're going to use the phone as a trackpad, it's not very convenient because you can't hold the phone in your hand while it's on a wired connection. Well, it's not wired, a docked connection, I should say. All right, let's see what else is under here. Lots of HP stuff. Looks like instructions. I don't really need instructions. So this guy actually fits right on top of the dock here. You could pull off this attachment, and this one just seems to have a bigger hole. I don't exactly know why I would need the second one, but presumably there it goes. Presumably if it has a case, the USB-C sticks out a little more, this will be useful. So what else is in the box? There's lots of stuff. Oh, there's another one. All right, so lots of attachments for the dock here. All right, in this little box here, I assume we have some goodies. Oh, there's another attachment for the dock. All right, I assume that's an attachment for the dock. Wow, lots of these, yeah, all different attachments. Here's our USB-C. And this guy looks like it's not just a regular USB-C cable. Oh, so that's an extension. I did ask them about that when I demoed it, and you can use an extension. That's excellent. So, yeah, so if you want to use the phone as a trackpad, you can do that. I don't know. When I asked them about that at the demo, they actually told me, like, well, that's why you can hook up a mouse and a keyboard. I'm like, great. So we don't even have the option. Power cable. We've got a power cable and, wow, like a power brick. I assume, yeah, that plugs into the dock just like that. That's interesting. Not sure why they didn't go with USB-C to charge, but they didn't, and that's HP's decision. Let's see if we got anything over here. Nope, that is completely empty. Good thing this box was that big, huh? I mean, sure, they could have saved a little bit of space here. So, by the way, this big box that you see right here should be everything that comes in the desktop and phone pack, which is $799 from the Microsoft Store. If you want the phone on its own, you can buy that too. It should be $699. I don't know if they have it at the Microsoft Store. You might have to get it from HP.com. All right, let's get the phone out. All right, here we go. Oh, there's stuff under here too. Little power adapter. more power adapter, as you can see. This should be USB-A to USB-C. That's helpful if you need a data cable. You've got one. Oh, and 3.5 millimeter headphones. You know, it's funny. I saw an article about the Elite X3, and it says the HP Elite X3 also features a headphone jack, which is clearly a shot at the iPhone 7. All right, so that's everything that comes in the box, which is quite a bit of stuff. All right, so we're going to start booting up this phone. And since I am recording this with an iPhone 7, I can just switch to the 2x view there. And if you're interested in the iPhone 7, we did just publish the review, as well as the new Apple Watch. So we're going to start booting this up, and then we're just going to do a quick recap of everything that was in the box, because even though the box is massive, I did not expect that much stuff. You can see we have a fingerprint reader on the back, and to show how long this phone was delayed, they said that the fingerprint reader wouldn't work at launch, and it does, or it should at least. It's got an iris scanner on the front. Okay, it's got the B&O speakers. 16 megapixel rear camera, 8 megapixel front camera. And the thing about that is, I went to a hands-on workshop for anyone that's reviewing this phone, and they didn't say a word about the camera. And I believe that's because it really doesn't have that good of a camera. 16 megapixels, that doesn't really mean anything. By the way, that's a new HP branding that you're seeing on some premium products now. If you didn't catch it, it's on the back as well. All right. You know, the camera has a f2 aperture. I mean, more megapixels doesn't mean a better camera. A lot of people will say it doesn't necessarily mean a better camera. It really just doesn't mean a better camera. And the camera doesn't have the specs to be a better camera. All right. So let's recap what's in the box while this thing is booting up, and then we'll set it up. We've got power adapter, which is a brick, and the adapter. Like, this is a full laptop type charger that you're seeing. I really don't know why they didn't go with just a USB-C to plug into the dock like you get with the Lumia display dock. All right, we've got the dock, which, by the way, dock is pretty nice. I'm loving the chrome on this. Although they didn't go with an all chrome body, which works because if a metal body wouldn't allow for wireless charging, and there are drawbacks to metal. I think they did a good job with design. We have the USB-C extension, right? So we got USB-C here, where you could plug it in, and female to male. All right, and then we can use this to charge with our charger right here. So you can see that the power adapter is USB Type A. So you would use USB Type A to Type C to charge the device, which the device is USB Type C. And then if you need to, you can use that extension through the dock. And then we got our various different adapters for the dock. Got this guy, which would work for the extension pretty well. Just different openings there. Lots of different stuff. I gotta say, I'm really surprised by the sheer amount of stuff that came in this box and all the packaging. And that's it. There's different adapters, different power cables, and it's really just about everything you need. Oh, and we have the headphones here. It's really just about everything you need to get started, minus, you know, a monitor, keyboard, mouse, stuff like that. Which, by the way, again, they'll be sending that stuff to me. Over the next couple of weeks, I should have really the full setup. All right, so let's start setting this up. United States again. We all know the Windows 10 mobile setup, so I'll come back when I've got this set up. So another thing that's common to Windows phone setups that I don't think any of us are fond of is that it's installing apps thing that it does for a few minutes. So just in setting up the phone and using the keyboard, this thing is going to be really delightful to use for people who are fans of the Lumia 1520. It has that feeling where everything is big and just kind of easy to use. I don't think you're going to get a camera that's as good as the 1520. Sorry. It's not PureView. It's not supposed to be a consumer device. And I spoke to HP about this. They are specifically not aiming at this at someone who is tired of their iPhone and is looking for something new. This is aimed at businesses. You can buy it as a consumer if you want, but it is squarely aimed at businesses. Now, obviously, the big selling point of this is Continuum. That's why they're pushing this display dock. That's why they're giving reviewers the whole setup to use Continuum. You can only run UWP apps off the phone, but HP has developed HP Workspace, which runs virtualized apps. So basically, it's like streaming a movie or streaming a song, but you're streaming an app. So you can run Chrome off of this phone. And according to HP, or according to Qualcomm, the Snapdragon 820 chipset is the power of a Core i3. So they didn't say which Core i3 or anything about that. But they say it's the power of the Core i3, which really is just to give you that feeling that this is powerful enough to run those Intel x86 apps. So the big problem with that, from what I've seen in the various demos, when I was in Atlanta at Microsoft Ignite, they were showing this to me. They were showing me the workspace, and nothing came up. And the problem was they're at an event, and the Wi-Fi at these events are always terrible. But this is a business conference, and this is a business device, so clearly you're going to want to be able to get work done there. Another area that I saw at the event last week, they were running the workspace off of LTE, and it didn't. They said, we assume that most people that are going to be using this feature are going to be on Wi-Fi. Maybe. I mean, but the whole point of the lap dock is so you can do it while you're out and about. So that's pretty much the one thing that worries me about this phone, because they're selling it as a 3-in-1. That's why it's called the X3. It's supposed to be one device that does everything. And I asked them about that demo in Atlanta, and they said, well, they really shouldn't have been doing that demo then if the Wi-Fi wasn't that good. Well, you know what? Maybe they should have, because we should really know what to expect from this thing. And obviously, you can't run those virtualized apps off of the phone because it's ARM. So that's just, I mean, it's another problem they're going to have to solve. A lot of things that I asked them, they said, well, this is Gen 1, and it'll be better. It's another thing we're working on for Gen 2. So they did imply that there's going to be a Gen 2 of this. Okay, so we finally got this thing set up. You can see the list of apps here. Standard Microsoft apps until you get to the HP section: financial, calculator, printer, remote device, sub-display tools, mobile hardware diagnostics, HP Picks, and Workspace. Workspace is where you're going to get those. You're going to get those x86 apps streamed to your phone, and that's going to be for Continuum. I'm going to try to use Continuum exclusively. Once I get a good setup, once I get a monitor, they're going to send me a monitor, a keyboard, everything, and the lap dock. Once I get all that set up, I'm going to attempt to use Continuum exclusively from this device. I need to use Chrome for NeoWin, and I'll be able to run Chrome off of Workspace. And we'll just kind of see how that works out. Okay. By the way, if you want to see how it plugs into the dock, it just goes right in there. That's the dock. All right. One thing I want to do before we go, I want to set up Windows Hello, because I've done iris scanners. Honestly, I don't think it's anything exciting, because I reviewed the Lumia 950 and the Lumia 950 XL, and it's just nothing. It's nothing worth noting. I'm not a fan of iris scanners on phones. You got to hold the thing in front of your face. Fingerprint sensors are where it's at. So let's get started. Touch the fingerprint scanner. Lift and touch again. Great. Touch the sensor again. Now try another angle. Rest and lift your finger at different angles. Capture the edges of your print. Couple, create a pin. Yeah, this might be the first thing where I had to set up a pin after I did that. All right, I'm not going to show you my pin. I went with 1, 2, 3, 4 because, it's so common that no one will ever guess it. You got to stay one step ahead of the game like that. All right, Windows Hello is preventing some options from being shown. Wouldn't it be nice if they told you what options aren't being shown? Nah, they wouldn't do that. So you can't tell it when to ask for your PIN again, which honestly I think is one of the most frustrating features of Windows 10 Mobile, because a lot of people don't realize it. But if you lock your phone, or if you put your phone to sleep, it doesn't automatically ask for a pin again. It won't for 10 or 15 minutes or whatever the default is. And you can change that, as you can see from this menu up here. I see that iris scanning is still in beta, which honestly I think is kind of sad. It's a feature that they introduced with, build 1511, 10586 when the Lumia 950 was out. They said it was in beta then. I said it was terrible then. People said, well, it's a beta feature. You got to give it time. And, well, it's been some time, and just seeing that it's still in beta is kind of depressing. All right, so let's just see what happens if we press the fingerprint sensor, and it just wakes up like that. The fingerprint sensor seems pretty fast. It took a second there for it to actually wake up, and that would be more the OS, because it recognized me right away, but then it took a second, maybe even a split second, to actually show the screen. All right, guys, that's it. There's going to be a lot more about this phone in the coming weeks. This is the most anticipated Windows phone of 2016, probably the only anticipated Windows phone of 2016. So I'm going to cover it, and I'm going to get as thorough as I can with it. Anyway, guys, I'm Rich from NeoWin. Have a great night.